It is being called the world's biggest deal for humanoid robots. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. The name of the company is Beyond Imagination, and with us is founder Dr. Harry Kloor. Thank you for taking the time.
My pleasure. Delighted to be here.
Well, let's start with a bit of background about Beyond Imagination.
Sure. So Beyond Imagination was launched in January of 2018 by myself and co-founders Dean Kamen, Ray Kurzweil, Paul Jacobs, Tony Robbins.
Really a stellar list there of people. So tell us what the goal is here. What is it that your mission is?
So our mission is to solve the world's labor crisis. In essence, to be able to create humanoid robots capable of doing a limitless number of tasks. Our approach is to first have them controlled by humans anywhere on the planet. And then over time, our AI brain evolves so it can take on the task autonomously. And so we have completed the construction of the robot and in the first stage of the AI. We premiered at CES in Vegas in January of 2022 and have done a variety of other shows, including at the world famous Explorers Club in New York City. And we are rapidly moving towards market.
So this is called the robot that if people are watching, they can see behind you. This is Beomni, Beomni. And Self Labs says it's going to purchase at least 1,000 of them in the next 5 years. And they'll be using the robots, I think, to tend crops, from what I understand. Tell me about this.
So we signed an agreement with Self Labs for 1,000 robots over the next 5 years. Of course, beginning actually with our first robot development this month, specifically geared towards them and the AI geared towards their application. Their application is in large-scale grow boxes, and these are going to be completely off the grid. So they will pull water from the atmosphere. They will use solar energy for every power requirements. And the goal is with our robots, they can be fully automated. So not require humans to tend them and not require any on-grid resources.
And what would the robots be doing? What kinds of tasks? Because I guess you're involved in setting these up, I suppose?
Yeah, so the tasks are in a closed environment. So it's a first great use case. It's a closed environment. The robot will be planting in the hydroponic grow pots. They will tend to the plants. They will then harvest them when they're ready. They'll put them in containers for basically direct to market. They will then put those containers in other boxes, and then those boxes the robot will take them out and put them onto a conveyor or bring them directly to a truck. Our system is completely mobile. It can move about both inside the grow box, but also can move about outside the grow box.
And initially, from what I understand and what you're saying, that these will be operated by people remotely?
So initially we'll do that, but by the time these are being fully deployed, because it's such a limited set of tasks, the AI will basically be autonomously taking care of the task. And let's say I have 1,000 robots working. If they run into trouble, a human can jump in and fix the problem. The reason we're starting with grow boxes and our second application is in surgical assistance is that there's a limited number of tasks and they're closed environments. So a grow box, very limited, knowable set of tasks that we can teach the AI to do autonomously. Same thing actually in a surgical room where the robot's not doing any cutting, but is assisting the surgeon. So for instance, we have a second agreement that's coming. So you'll be the first to know coming this week. And that is actually with Martin Roche and Roni Abovitz, who created Mako Surgical Robots, as well as Magic Leap. And there, that company will be focused on surgical applications. And the first part is as an orthopedic rep. And then That will be more human controlled. And then surgical assist, where the robot will be selecting the instruments for a particular surgery, placing them on a tray, and then handing the instruments to the surgeon as needed, but with perfect perfection and at a speed of an expert. So those are our two first applications. What's similar about them is a limited number of tasks in a closed environment.
So when we see, we're familiar with the TV shows when the surgeon says scalpel, this and that, the robot would be responding to it instead of the surgical nurse or whomever.
Right. And that's because, again, both for labor shortage and also because for skilled labor. So, surgical rooms have not really advanced much in terms of how they operate. In many aspects go back hundreds of years. This is a way to modernize them. So the first thing is in handing instruments in a perfect order and being able to actually watch the surgeon and anticipate the surgeon's needs.
Surgeons, many of them anyway, have become quite accustomed to working with robots, right? That's a whole field, a whole specialization today where they can use robots to do things, very intricate kinds of surgeries, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So in fact, that's where starting orthopedic, where Mako robotics, for instance, is often used in an orthopedic surgery. But it does really just one thing. It helps guide a drill to drill through flesh and bone for where you're going to put the device. So this brings it to the next stage where the robot is actually assisting the surgeon, handling instruments, and will evolve from there. Same thing in the grow box. There are a variety of robots on large scale used in agricultural fields, but we still use lots and lots of human labor in agriculture. And the grow box is the first step towards us being able to supplement that human labor, because a lot of people may not realize it, but a lot of food goes to waste because there isn't enough human labor.
Very interesting. So you're also, I understand, looking at the field of assisting older adults.
Yes. So these are the first two applications because you have to have a beachhead somewhere. But these are what we call omni-purpose robots. So they have an omni-purpose AI, not a narrow AI, not a general AI. It's not going to take over the world. And one of my big goals is to be able to solve the elder care crisis. My mother, until she passed away in June, she had 3 professional caretakers, but a lot of people can't afford or don't have access to caretakers. And so they live very poor and miserable lives. They're not near family. With our system, because it's an entire ecosystem, I can put, imagine I have 1 million elderly who need assistance. I have 1 million robots. I can have 100,000 professional caretakers standing by to jump in the robot to take care of their need. I can have family members scheduling time to come in and be able to interact with their parents, cook them meals, help them in the garden, do their exercise. And then the AI can also fill part of the problem. So our solution isn't just the robot, it's the AI, the robot, and our cloud platform. And over time, the AI will evolve to take more and more tasks. But I think family members, even if it was fully autonomous, would want to be there to help their family members. And so that's one of the other solutions.
Yes, whenever possible. And it's not just the physical tasks, I suppose, because one of the big issues facing older adults today is loneliness.
Absolutely. So, they have social robots, but the advantage of ours is that I can make you the meal and then I can be with you during the meal and I can project my face on a holographic screen. I'll be interacting. You very quickly will think it's me, especially if it's displaying my face, but it has all my gestures because it is me. I'm just using an alternative body.
Harry, what are the biggest challenges you feel you're facing today in making these beyond imagination ideas become real?
Well, I think the technical hurdle is advancing the AI so that we can rapidly make it autonomous on a task-by-task basis, and we're on the road to that. And then it's, I think, a perception. People are familiar with single-purpose use robots, industrial robotic arms, but let's point out that 72% of all manufacturing is still done by humans. because those robots can't do that task. So we have a perception issue, and our other one is raising capital. We're hoping, though, with these two new deals that raising our A round, which we just launched in this month, for raising 10 million for 125 million value, will rapidly move forward.
You've done some crowdfunding as well?
Yeah, so we believe, and in fact, I've been part of the X Prize community. I was one of the co-founders of that. Been involved in Singularity University, and we have long preached that crowd resources are the way to advance. So we have opened a WeFunder campaign. So it's WeFunder /Beomni.ai, where people can come in. We haven't opened it to the public, but we're telling folks like you it'll open to the public in September. But we've already raised over 130K while in stealth mode. And the point of it is regular people should be able to invest in the next Tesla, not just wealthy people.
What about and I guess you addressed it to some extent, the social aspects of this and the psychological aspects. Are people ready, willing? Has Amazon paved the way with Alexa to some extent? Are the people ready for this?
I think they are. Of course, there's always going to be people who are concerned, and rightfully so, what's happening to your private conversations. But we're creating a system that's not like Alexa. It's not silently listening to you all the time. And then broadcasting that back to Amazon. Our system is designed to be appealing to everyone. So in fact, we've found in live situations with everyone from little kids to elderly up to the age of 99, it's been tested. And it has great appeal, and people really connect with the robot, both for what it can do and the humanity of it.
How do you do this in a way that's going to not make this just a toy for the wealthy?
Well, so that's why we are bringing it to actual applications. So in the grow boxes, the goal is to be able to feed a growing world population and do so in a healthy and economical way. And then same thing in surgery. The more efficient you can make surgical rooms, actually the lower cost those surgeries will be, and the more effective they will be. As we move forward into enterprises such as elder care, again, that's not just for the wealthy. In fact, it's the opposite. The government actually pays for a lot of elder care. This is a way where they could treat 10 people for the price of one. And the same thing for manufacturing or anything else. We're seeing massive increases in wages. There's a report today out on just how low productivity is becoming. It's dropped another 6.7% in the last quarter. And we're seeing a massive rise in wages. So wages going up, productivity going down. With humanoid robots that can amplify human labor, we hope to reverse that trend.
Tell us what advantages you feel you have. You told us about some of the certainly A+ list people involved here. Advantages you feel you have over companies like Tesla, and I guess there are a number of others that are working on this issue.
Right. So I think our advantage is one, gathered some of the best and brightest across the fields, not just in AI and robotics, but across the entire business field. Our approach is not to build a demonstration robot that most companies aim at, and we're not trying to recreate the wheel. So we're looking at existing technology and where it's adaptable, adapting it, and where it doesn't exist, inventing it. But everything geared towards a product coming to market to solve tasks. Take other companies like Boston Dynamic and Toyota and Honda. They've spent billions and haven't reached where we're at, and we've spent under $6 million. And so it's also that startup approach. There is an advantage of being in a lean, mean startup, so you have to find smarter solutions and not just do brute force. And then on an approach of creating something in between narrow AI and general AI, which is our Omni AI approach, our relationships, for instance, in brain mapping and therapeutics, our relationships across numerous exponential technologies, is enabling us to build something I think that's unique both in hardware and software.
Do you see Amazon as a competitor, especially with its pending acquisition of iRobot?
No, I see Amazon as a future customer. There's plenty of room. Let's put it this way. There's still plenty of room for car companies, and they've been around for more than a century. There's plenty of new electronic vehicles coming out, even though Tesla has the major market share. But there are no humanoid robots on the market, and even iRobots, not really humanoid robots. They're useful robots, and I think there's a use for those robots as well as humanoids like us. For instance, you haven't mentioned Tesla is reaching out to build their own humanoid robot. I think that's only going to help us. The market needs to grow in the humanoid robot area for taking on multiple tasks. So I'm very excited to see these developments.
What do you say to those who say this is a scary future? I'm afraid of having robots. They might get rid of us, that kind of thing.
Well, what I think that's a little too sci-fi-ish, but what they should really be thinking about is, one, at least for our approach, we're not trying to do what Elon and others are doing, which is saying that they want to build general AI. We're building something that's task-oriented. It's omnipurpose AI. It's not going to think. It's not going to value, judge, and say humans shouldn't be around, or we should control them. It's no more going to take over the world than your toaster will. But what it will do is it will increase productivity. It will lower costs. It will buy you more free time. I mean, ultimately, our goal is to make a product transition from enterprise 5 years from now into the consumer market. And as Stephen Jobs has often been quoted saying, people don't know what they want until you show them. I think this will be the same thing with our Beomni robots. I think once we show people that, imagine your daily life where all of your tasks are taken care of. So in essence, it's the march of, the rich and famous can have maids and servants taking care of all of their needs. My goal is that everybody could have that taken care of with reasonably cost humanoid robot servants.
What before I let you go, what do you see as reasonably priced for something like this? I know not tomorrow, but a little bit down the road.
Right. So I mean, our for enterprise will initially come out again. I love Tesla and Elon. I'm not afraid of his entering this market. In part, it's driven by us and others. Around 125 to 150,000, so a high-end Tesla Roadster, and then over the next 5 years, marching down to about $60,000 a unit. At that price, it's the price of a nice mid-sized car, a luxury SUV, sort of in that area. So I think at 60,000, which you could break up over a 6-year period, that's $10,000 a year, becomes very affordable for a lot of people.
And of course, you'd have to make it, if it's going to go into homes, everyday homes, something that's simple enough to use, not require a lot of maintenance. I guess goes back to the charger, the way an iRobot does today.
Yeah. So in fact, that's why we're projecting 5 to 6 years from now for consumer, and focus right now on enterprise, where we have closed environments and limited number of tasks, versus in the home where things broaden out. And that's basically our time frame and goal.
Well, congratulations on the innovations and what you're doing there, and we certainly look forward to following what's to come. Kloor, thanks for taking the time with us.
Thank you, and take care. Bye-bye.